I think they've got two huge home games against Norwich and Burnley, two teams that are around them and two teams that they need to take points off. I mean, it's very, very early on in the season to start talking about 6-pointers, but this week in Newcastle's season could be pivotal to how the rest of the season goes, because you look at the games that they've got coming up. They've got Norwich and Burnley at home, two games, in my opinion, that they have to win. After that, they go to Leicester, Liverpool, they've got Manchester City, Manchester United, and then they're away at Everton. That's all before January. We know the wealth that Newcastle have got. We know the investment that's coming into this club. But you've got to get to January when you've still got a chance. If they don't get anything this week, they have to go into that run of fixtures, what I just talked about, with on a roll, on a high, with confidence. Confidence breeds within a team. All of a sudden, if you're looking at going to Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, coming to St James's Park, if you've won a few games and you're high in confidence, all of a sudden that's not as daunting as it is if you've lost your two home games or you only picked up a couple of points and you're still bottom of the league. He's got a huge job there, Eddie Howe, but I think he's the right man for the job because he knows how to keep teams in the Premier League. He's done it for a long time at Bournemouth, and he did it on a lot less budget than what he's going to have at Newcastle. But I think his recruitment in January is going to be key. But he has to get to January still with a chance of staying in this league because it's a massive challenge.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that the owners, the fans, would have expected more of a bounce when he's coming in, but there are mitigating circumstances here, aren't we? We've got to be aware of those. He will, of course, be in the Newcastle dugout for the first time, having had COVID so early on in his time at the club. Has he really had enough time to work with his players yet? And are we really seeing what he can potentially achieve there?
It's very difficult to judge a manager after two games. I mean, the first game against Brentford, we saw a different style straight away. We saw them pressing higher up the field. We saw them trying to play a little bit more possession, and definitely a bit more open and attacking going forward. Brentford were always going to be a difficult team to play against. You know, the run of form that they were in, it was a difficult first game, and not having the manager there in the dugout didn't help. And then you look at the second fixture going away to the Emirates to Arsenal against an Arsenal team who have been on a great run of form of late, and they're a completely different proposition as to what they were at the beginning of the season. So he's had two very, very difficult games in mitigating circumstances to cope with. But he's had time now to work with his team. He's been back on the training ground. He's got a squad of players there that he's going to have to get results with. His man management has been praised in the past, but he's got the team there that he's got to work with. He's got no option until he gets to January. But like I said, he's got to get to January with his team still in touch, that he's got an opportunity to go into the market and strengthen, because January is key for them. I mean, they have to get there. The squad that they've got isn't good enough, which is why they're in a position that they're in, which is why the results aren't the way that they want them to be. But January, they have to sign a calibre of player that can keep them in this league. I mean, there's no point in going to sign the world's best players in January and trying to fit them together. The recruitment in January has to be incredibly clever. They have to be players who know this league, players who have seen and done this before, tried and trusted players that he believes will fit into his system. And it's almost you signing a set of players in January to keep you in the league, and then thinking, right, this set of players will keep me in the league. We're going to have to revisit this again next year when we're still in the Premier League. We're pushing on. We're looking for top six. There's a set of players almost now that he needs around him that are going to keep him in this league for next season.
So what are you saying here? Because, you know, the image that people like to portray is that footballers are just mercenaries and will go, if there's a big paycheck at the end of every week, they'll sign up for anyone. What you're saying is that's not true, because to attract the player, they have to be within touching distance of safety in order to get the type, the calibre of performer that they need to keep them up. Is that what you're saying?
I think he has to sign a certain type of player in January who know how to cope with the relegation battle, because you look at the league, they're on 6 points. Let's be in no doubt they're in a huge relegation battle here. You know, you go and sign or try and sign a certain calibre of player. Newcastle will be eventually signing the world's best players, what they want to get to, what they want to achieve, because they've got the financial resources to be able to do that. They've got the financial resources to compete or overpower any other team in the world at the moment. But at the moment, they need players to get them out of the immediate situation that they're in. I think they've done that very cleverly with the manager, because, like I said, he's been able to do it with Bournemouth. He's got the best out of players there. He needs to work with the squad that he's got to get him to January, but he can't go and buy 11 new players in January and just expect things to work. He has to buy a calibre of player, a quality of player, leadership in the dressing room, you know, people that he can turn to when results aren't going right. He knows that he's got leaders in the dressing room, leaders on the pitch, because a relegation fight is a completely different battle to a Champions League. You know, trying to get in the Champions League, trying to compete at the top of the league. the calibre of player you need, all of a sudden the pressure in the dressing room is huge. If you don't win a couple of games, all of a sudden you're looking at the table, you're still in the bottom three. You've got less games to go. It's a completely different pressure to what a lot of other players will be used to. It's absolutely of vital importance to Newcastle that they stay in the Premier League this year, and recruitment in January is going to be key to that.